Well, we are back almost immediately with perhaps a career-defining opportunity at Southend United. We know we've got the FA Cup semi-final against our bogey side Aston Villa. But before that, we face a Brighton side that are battling relegation. And if we win it because of other teams slipping up, we'll be within 2 points of the top of the table. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 89 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We go away to 19th place Brighton today. I wasn't sure which of that and the West Ham one I was going to show. When I saw we were the late kickoff and United are lost at 3 p.m, I thought I had to show it because if we win, we go within 2 points to the top of the table with 5 games to play. We've had loads of teams slipping up, some of the big boys really struggling, some of those that have been up there in recent years falling away. No team other than us and United can get to 80 points this season, and United can only now get to 88, having lost their game at the weekend. If we win, we're back in the hunt. We've got an FA Cup semi-final as well. This could be yet another magical season. If you're looking forward to finding out if it is, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. But for now, let's go and look at the schedule for the one game off camera. Well, we weren't vintage, but we did the job. That draw against Everton now looks a decent result in context. We kept the little unbeaten run going. Against Norwich City, we won 1-0 thanks to Mauricio's goal. He scored just after Joe Wills got injured. Joe Hugill came on and helped manage the game. But otherwise, a really good win. Another great performance from Jude Sadler. And De Angelis starting to improve as well. So considering we rotated probably 5 or 6 through necessity there, we managed to get a good result. And I'm very happy with how we're going. Because to go from a position where we were a mid-table team last year, 3 years ago we're battling relegation, and now we're in a position where we're battling for a title. And it's because of teams slipping up. Manchester City, the champions the last 2 seasons, nowhere near. Arsenal, the champions the 2 years before that, nowhere near. Liverpool, not really recovered from that administration. Everton and Brighton, 2 Champions League teams from last year, and look at them, 12th and 19th. One of them we're facing today. They could be almost relegated if we manage to beat them. We look at the dynamics. Everything is excellent. Just Berek, who's not perfectly on board at the minute. So it's looking like it's got the potential of being a massive run-in. Will the next one be a title decider and an FA Cup final? Well, today's episode will give us the answer to that. Let's go and have a look at the fixtures ahead of the evening game via a quick look at the transfer centre, where we've agreed deals with 3 young players to come in. I'm sort of moving into that second stage of a Premier League club now, where we're looking at bringing in young players for the development side to make a profit on, to become homegrown at the club, and if they become superstars, then great. These are people of the ilk of Jack Morehouse, who we were bringing through in the National League, but rather than being in our first team, we're just trying to get them to that League One Championship level through development, and then sell them on for a few million quid. We'll see if that works out. For now, though, we're through to the fixtures where you can see United lost at 10th place Wolves by 2-1. And now we've got a real opportunity away at Brighton to go within 2. The goal difference is close as well, so don't you worry. We've got plenty left in this race. Can we make it count when it matters, or are we going to bottle it? I do worry about Brighton because they've got that narrow front three that we struggle with, and they've got a good team. They're in the Champions League for a reason. They've got fantastic players in certain areas, some good youngsters, really experienced defensive line. Billy Gilmore, an original, still there. And Rodrigo Ribeiro was starring for us at Bayern in the head coach. Not quite as injury prone in this save, it seems. But let's have a look at the team selection, because the team we played last week is largely fit. And you can see those that we rested just about back as well. And Teddy Ivanov, crucially, 75 minutes. That's a big boost to us too. Let's get our first 11 picked for this game. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, it's basically back to the first 11 you'd probably expect, and if I asked you to name my team, you'd probably come up with this one. Wills and Ivanov both not fit for 90 after recent injuries, but we'll start. We've got Hugo and Mauricio both on the bench. The 2 wingers come back in. We keep rotating the midfield too, so Berek, Bernberg and Jimenez, we start a different 2 each game. And at the back, when we've got everyone available, we've stuck with the same back 5 to get them used to each other. And it means that Jude Sadler is in goal today. He's becoming an absolute monster. Really, really good player. The worry I've got, though, is that interest from Saudi again. Last time he threw his toys out the pram when that happened. We've got De Angelis and Memic at fullback with O'Day. alongside a Herbert that's not really got back to top form since returning from injury. Yakalano and Adamson out wide with Jimenez and Bernberg in the middle, and then Teddy Ivanov up front alongside Joe Wills. How long will the two of them last, and how sharp will the two of them look? Let's go away to 19th place Brighton and hope there's no slip-ups after a big week off. Looking at their team, we know the quality. On the bench, they've got an aging Emil Smith-Rowe. Kelleher's their sub-keeper. There's good players in that squad, and there's a lot of youth and exuberance too. But it does seem this season they've struggled with the extra load of playing in the Champions League the first half of the year. So I'm hoping that we can take advantage, get ourselves in a good position, and then we can always back ourselves to finish strong if we do so. Memic with a throw on the right, that's appalling. Bernberg heads away, and Memic is a really good young player. But so often he gives the ball away from a throw-in, it's ridiculous. I've tried so many times to correct it with different tactics. I think it's just one of his traits, unfortunately. 10 minutes on the clock, Brighton dominating so far. And they've got another corner kick. I'm a little bit concerned here. Is it one of those where we're going to slip up stupidly now? We saw against Everton after that ridiculous Newcastle game. Oh, what's that from Yakalano? Gilmore to Chambers. I'm distracted. Clark puts it in. Why do we have to concede the first goal every time? Imagine how good a team we'd be if we didn't have to turn every game round in the second half. Imagine how good we'd be then. Brighton 1 up. They have absolutely battered us so far. Why are they so far down the table with the team they've got? I don't get it. They've had a couple of injuries, but they've got a really good squad. And obviously last season they were fantastic, so I don't understand the process, I've got to be honest with you. But 25 gone, we've not even had a shot. Is putting both unfit strikers in maybe a mistake in hindsight? Is it the pressure now, seeing what's happened with United? I'm berating the lads, trying to get a bit more out of them. We have at least managed a couple of shots now, but no sign of any shots on target or any threat to the Brighton goal. And at half-time, we might be getting the hairdryer out as Bernberg puts in a free kick. Can we equalise against the run of play? Joe Will's header tipped over. It's going to be down to Hugo and Mauricio late on, isn't it? Because these two are doing nothing as Yakalano to the back post to Herbert. Headed away as far as Adamson on the volley. Great save. He's not had the best first season, Adamson, but he's had some very big moments. The FA Cup semi-final being one of them. Quarter-final, sorry. But here, he just missed out. And it's another corner. We're finishing the first half with pressure on their goal. But we've not got anything to show for it yet. We go in 1-1, we'll beat them. I'm confident of that. Adamson gets the corner in again. Up goes Joe Wills. Headed away. Doesn't quite happen for us. But at half-time, at least we showed a bit of spark in the end. But it just feels like every half-time team talk, I have to point the finger, say we've not been great, and then in the second half we respond. I wish we could just do it from the start of a game. It's not been a great display so far. I'm looking at both wingers and strikers and thinking we might be making a quadruple sub here because it doesn't look good and I'm not going to stick with it. Yakalano, we know, has not been great recently. Takatsuka has been a super sub. Sam Ammo will come on the left-hand side. Mauricio on for Teddy Ivanov. And I'll give Joe Wills 10 more just because his rating's a little bit better. But I do need a response. Jimenez has been poor as well. We were trying to go down the right there and then just stopped mid-highlight. Jimenez is tired. We're going to bring Berek on for him. Hugo on up front for Joe Wills. I might have to go attacking soon because this would be a really depressing way to throw it away. As De Angelis goes down the left to Hugo. Can he be the super sub for the umpteenth time? Back to De Angelis on the edge of the box. You don't often see attacks from him. It's a pretty tame effort in the end though. And it's straight through to Young in the Brighton goal. We've got 3 times the expected goals almost now. Not having much possession, which is a worry. I'm going to demand more. I've gone attack him, but is it going to be like the Newcastle game where it happens very late? It doesn't look it, does it? This has been one of our poorest displays of the season, and it has come at the worst possible time. I really got excited when I saw the United result, but it seems like we've got a team of bottle jobs as well. Nobody wants to win it. And I really think that's going to end up costing us. I actually thought it might happen for a moment. We stay 5 points behind. We've still got to look over our shoulder for the top 4. Manchester United lose. They slip up, but we can't take advantage. Now, we've got to respond for an FA Cup game against Villa, a side that often score heavily against us. And a place in the FA Cup final cannot be conceded We need to go and make sure we perform there. Back in a minute to see if we do. Well, this game has just taken on more significance because I don't know why it's been played the week before, but Arsenal have just played Championship Bristol City in the other semi-final, and Bristol City have won it 1-0. If we get through, we will be playing against the side that we played with in FM23, but more importantly, a Championship team. This is winner takes all between us and Villa now. And forget the disappointment of missing out on a title potentially against the odds. This becomes the biggest game in our history because if we win it, really we should be winning the FA Cup. Back in a minute for kickoff. Well, I didn't also realise in the scheduling that something's gone a bit awry because we're playing our FA Cup semi-final on a Wednesday night at Wembley, which doesn't quite seem right. Surely the league game would have been the one to move. However, we are now up against Aston Villa, and we know that a championship side awaits the finalist. This makes this game incredibly important. Sam Ammo, Joe Wills, Teddy Ivanov all pass fitness tests. Can the strikers produce when it matters today? Joe Wills had just found that form again last episode, then picked up the injury. We've got one of our former players, Rashida Dowu, up front against us. Kennedy, Ramsey, Douay, they've all caused us chaos in this save. Look at left wing back as well. Julius Till is the player we tried to sign before Adamson and a couple of others last summer, and he is one of the best left wingers in the world. One of the best young players as well. So this is a big, big problem. They're a good side on paper, but we know what we're capable of. It's just about whether we're fully fit. Everyone has seemingly got a light or medium match load, which does suggest that we're going to be okay going into this one. But I'm really worried because it's knowing that the prize is so great now. A championship team, a real chance to win comfortably. Whereas before, if we'd been going to face Arsenal, I might not have been broken-hearted if we lost. As it is, I'm going to stick with the same 11. I know that they didn't play well at the weekend, but they don't often let us down. And the chances of Wills and Ivanov playing 2 in a row and offering nothing has generally been pretty slim. I do feel like we need to give O'Day a kick up the backside because he's really been poor in the last games. I'm going to say you weren't good enough defensively. Now respond. Start performing like a top-class player. It's the same 11. It's the same quality. But the strikers are slightly fitter. Herbert is back to fitness. I need a response, boys. Go and get it for me. Aston Villa at Wembley in a semi-final. Well, here we are under the arch at Wembley Stadium, and it's a good Aston Villa team we're up against, and Jose has somewhat been our nemesis in this save, weirdly for being incredibly attacking. Rashida Dowu comes in up front. We know all about his quality. His goals helped save us in our early Premier League years. Let's see how he's developed these days. Not that well, actually. He's pretty much a backup for them, but he is an England international with some real quality. What year was he with us? Our second Premier League season. And he scored 5 league goals. I really thought it was more than that. Let's go and get through the dressing room now. This is absolutely huge. We go through to the first half of an FA Cup semi-final, knowing a championship team is waiting in the final. Forget the European football now. This is about a trophy, and a domestic one that would mean 2 trophies in 2 years and starting to build that dynasty at Southend United. Let's hope we can produce it. Well, half an hour on the clock. It's been an incredibly quiet cup tie as we get a corner kick, which is headed over. Should have scored is the commentary. That was my first thought as well. Really was a good chance to score. Unfortunately, we don't make it count. With 5 to the break, we're still yet to have a shot on target, although it has now gone up to 1. We do appear to be the better side as Bernberg puts it in. I say that though, as De Angelis with a volley just over. This is the one team that we've not really had that second half effect against. We normally get stronger in games, but against Villa, we've often been ahead at the break and then lost by 3 or 4. And I point the finger, I'm going to say you've not done well enough. I want these boys on it second half. And I want a response as we've got the whole of the left-hand side on a booking. De Angelis goes back to Herbert. He is now fully fit again, so should perform well. The strikers, though, are struggling as De Angelis. Say that, they've not had much service. Here is some for Joe Wills. Goes back to Bernberg. Can he unlock the door? De Angelis finds Adamson. The young winger, first season at the club. Can he win an FA Cup? If he wins this game, you think he will. As Herbert. Back across to O'Day. Wide to Memic. We switch the line of attack. Memic has got Yukulano down the line. Can he find him? Good through ball, but the touch is heavy. Back to Jimenez. Wide to Memic. Yukulano's down the line. 2 in the middle. Into Ivanov. Oh, no. No, Teddy Ivanov doesn't miss those. You know when you just get the feeling that FM doesn't want it to be a day? Well, that finish gives me that sort of feeling. Memic throws in on the right to Yukalano. We're doing really well. But you can't miss efforts like that. Wills is going to score. No, he's hit the post. I was about to say, but he's offside anyway. He hits the woodwork. Doesn't even score when it's offside. That's when you know it's really going wrong. The expected goals pass is 1. It's been a lightning start to the second half, but we've not got the goal. And again, I'm questioning what we do with Ivanov as Memic finds Yukalano. Options in the middle. He finds them from the byline. Cross into Joe Wills. And he gets it this time. One of the Super Joes is in, and it's Joe Wills. Yukalano with a very good cross. Ivanov's not having a great day. But Joe Wills has turned up to the party. Now, can we keep the pressure on? As 1-0 up has been very dangerous historically against this Aston Villa team. As Adamson cuts in from the left. Space to run into, but just plays back to O'Day. Very composed in possession. Memic carries it forward. Yukalano's making a run. Memic goes alone. He's brought down, but Yukalano picks the ball up. And it's just wide via Carr. Carr is England's number 1. I don't think he's as good as Sadler personally. He's having a great game here as Yukalano will put the corner in. And then we'll bring Mauricio on for Ivanov as Herbert goes up. It's headed away for a throw-in. With 25 to go, it is all Southend. But can we make it count? Can we double our lead and get comfortable? Memic puts it in. Joe Wills is there. Headers over the bar. It's another chance that goes begging. And you just feel, are we going to regret missing all of these? I'm going to start making the subs out wide. We're going to go Ivanov off up front for Mauricio. And then Adamson and De Angelis, both playing averagely, both on yellows. We'll go for Sam Ammo and we'll go for Cameron Ishmael. An extremely experienced duo at this club, albeit maybe not on this stage. 20 minutes remaining. There's only one team that deserves to win this. But we know Villa will throw the kitchen sink late on. And I'd really rather be 2 goals up than 1 as Ishmael carries it forward across the pitch. Chips over to Yukalano, who's been wonderful. Chance to cross again. Joe Wills is in there. Joe Wills scores it. Header into the corner via Carr. And I don't want to say it too early. I think we're going to the FA Cup final. And based on the fact we're playing a championship team, we should be winning the FA Cup. Sam Ammo gets the ball to Jimenez. 3 would certainly make it safe. Will's head's just wide. Should have been a hat-trick. I mean, him and Yukalano are knackered, but forget the league. This is about winning the FA Cup now. And I want to make sure we get it done. Bernberg will come off for Aaron Berek. We'll save the 1 more sub in case of an injury. In case we need to time waste late on. Joe Wills is really struggling, but he's on an FA Cup semi-final hat-trick. I can't take him off until now. Because we're in stoppage time and Joe Hugill, you deserve to come on an occasion like this. You won us the Europa League final off the bench and you're going to feature in an FA Cup final next month too. Aston Villa 0, Southend 2. All of the disappointment of the Brighton game is gone because aside from the first 20 minutes there, we were phenomenal. The second half was sublime. We dominated the game. Joe Wills turned up with 2. Yukalano, magic on the right-hand side. And Southend United will play Championship Bristol City at Wembley in the FA Cup final. We should be winning a second major trophy in 2 years, and our first domestic one, and our first domestic final, in fact, since the FA Trophy in Season 1. Congratulations, lads. You've all dreamt of playing in the final. Now you're doing it, but don't get complacent. You have got to go and win that final. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when it's going to be. Is it after the season, or is it halfway during the run-in? Let's go and have a look. We are playing Bristol City 13th of May. I don't think that's going to be the final game, you know. Yukalano gets massive praise for his performance. Well done to him. And we finally got the better of Mourinho again. It's the penultimate game, Bristol City. So you know what we're going to be back for. The defeat against Brighton, combined with that draw against Everton at the end of the last episode, has probably just done for our faint title hopes. United have had their wobble and we haven't got any closer. But who cares, because we might be about to win an FA Cup. We'll be back for a final against Championship Bristol City next time. Imagine if we bottle it from here. And in Crystal Palace away, a side we managed in last year's head coach, this time we'll be up against them on a final day of the Premier League season. Looks like it's going to be top 4 and maybe another bit of silverware into the club. I am looking forward to that final and I'm very excited for what we could do. We delivered in the Europa League. Can we deliver in the FA Cup? I'll see you next time to find out. If you enjoyed this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video as we bounce back in style in a big game at Wembley. If you want to stay up to date and see if we complete the job, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back on Tuesday to finish the season after more big action from the head coach on Monday. We've got a 10-year bookmark in that one to compare the footballing world in that universe to the one we've had here with Southend last summer. And we'll also have our summer transfer special a few days later as well. For now though, you can find all the other key playlists, including our youth development guides, up in the eye above. There's also links there to the Twitch channel and the football podcast, which are stacked with content at the moment. So please do come and give us a follow on both of those. Come and get involved in the comments there too. But thank you very much for watching, being involved as always. A short but very sweet episode in the end after crushing disappointment away at Brighton, which may yet save them in the Premier League. We responded in an FA Cup semi-final. And now get to look forward to a trophy opportunity, a big one at that, next time around. I'll see you there for it. Thanks as always for watching.